Have you ever felt that subtle, persistent whisper deep within you, suggesting there's maybe a richness to life, a profound understanding of yourself and the world that seems just out of grasp?
Yeah, that yearning, that pull towards something more, I think everyone experiences that at some point.
It's a universal human experience, isn't it? This pull towards meaning beyond the surface level stuff.
Absolutely.
Today, we're not just scratching the surface. We're embarking on a truly expansive journey.
A real deep dive.
Exactly. We're taking a deep dive into an incredible collection of texts that offer diverse, yet often, harmonized perspectives on this very quest for inner truth.
That's quite a stack we've got.
It is. We've gathered a rich stack of sources for you, from ancient scriptures that have guided seekers for millennia to modern spiritual guides that really resonate with contemporary challenges.
A real mix.
Our mission is clear: to extract the most potent, actionable insights on how different traditions approach self-knowledge, spiritual growth, and ultimately that elusive sense of wholeness.
And what truly stands out, what's so compelling as we explore these varied sources, is how, despite their vastly different origins, spanning centuries, cultures, spiritual philosophies, they frequently converge on remarkably similar, profound truths.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It really is, about the human condition, the path to liberation. It's like discovering different maps, but they're all leading to the same fundamental landscape.
Yeah.
As we unpack the wisdom embedded in each, we'll be looking at what it means to transcend the ego, to purify the mind, and to connect with something far beyond our immediate everyday perception.
We'll try to reveal a mosaic of understanding for you, showing how these ancient pathways are still incredibly relevant today.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Many of these profound texts, they don't just gently suggest an inner journey.
No, it's often quite direct.
Right. They often begin by highlighting a rather stark and uncomfortable truth.
Yeah.
Widespread dissatisfaction with our ordinary state of being. It's almost as if they're holding up a mirror to a collective human malaise, asking us to genuinely reflect on our current reality. Like a wake-up call.
Exactly. Conversations with God, for instance, really challenges our modern collective attitudes, and it does so quite directly. With a pretty cutting observation, it states, and I'm quoting here, that 4/5 of the world's people consider life a trial, a tribulation, a time of testing, a karmic debt that must be paid.
Wow, 4/5. That's huge.
A school with harsh lessons that must be learned, and, in general, an experience to be endured while awaiting the real joy, which is after death.
Just enduring it.
Yeah. And the text then describes this widespread sentiment simply as a shame.
That's powerful. A shame.
It's a powerful indictment, isn't it? It makes you wonder, why is such a significant portion of humanity living with this underlying current of endurance rather than, engagement?
What are the implications of that for us individually and collectively?
Right.
That's a profound observation, and it raises that critical question. Why do so many people across so many different walks of life, different cultures, seem to internalize this view of life as just an ongoing struggle?
Yeah, where does that come from?
Well, the excerpts from Man's Search for Meaning offer a crucial perspective here. They connect this dissatisfaction to a modern psychological dilemma.
Oh, Viktor Frankl.
Exactly. Viktor Frankl, drawing from his own, harrowing experiences, he underscored the idea that contemporary mental health discourse too often places the pursuit of happiness as the primary goal, almost obligatory.
Right, like if you're not happy, something's wrong with you.
Precisely. This emphasis can inadvertently make unhappiness seem like a symptom of deviation, a personal failing. But Frankl suggests a different approach, a more resilient one. He posits that we ourselves must answer the questions life asks of us, and we can only respond responsibly to our existence.
So taking responsibility.
Yes. The core of his work is that the search for meaning, finding purpose and responsibility, even amidst suffering, rather than just chasing happiness, is key to genuine mental health. Resilience.
So finding meaning within the struggle, not just waiting for joy afterwards.
Exactly. It shifts the burden from internalizing unhappiness as a flaw to actively engaging with life's challenges, finding meaning in the trial.
Okay, so if life is often perceived as this trial and finding meaning is the antidote, well, it's clear that the stakes for this inner discovery are incredibly high.
Absolutely.
The Untethered Soul brings a kind of sobering urgency to the whole thing, reminding us of the profound impermanence of life in a way that really hits home. It sort of jolts you out of complacency. It states, quite bluntly, that death is a great teacher.
Okay, But true.
And then it offers this powerful, stark thought. At any time, you can take a breath and there may never be another.
Wow. Yeah, that puts things in perspective.
Doesn't it? And it isn't meant to be morbid or, to induce fear. It's meant to be a catalyst.
Right, to wake you up.
Exactly. This acute awareness of our finite time, the fragility of each moment, often becomes the very force that propels people inward. It urges them to seek deeper understanding, deeper purpose now, in this very moment.
Not putting it off.
Not deferring it until some future ideal time.
Mm-hmm.
The text challenges us. If we are all going to die anyway, why shouldn't we at least strive to be happy and fully engage with the experience while we're here?
That makes sense.
This sense of impermanence, then, is often that urgent, undeniable call to inner discovery, shaking us awake to how precious life really is. So having confronted this, profound dissatisfaction and the urgency that impermanence brings, we're naturally led to question the very nature of our everyday existence.
Like, what is this self we're trying to improve or transcend?
Exactly. Many of these traditions keenly scrutinize the concept of our ordinary self, suggesting it's often an illusion or, at best, maybe incomplete.
Hmm.
The Fifth Agreement really dives into this fascinating idea. It describes humans as inherent artists.
Artists? How so?
Well, it says we constantly create an entire virtual reality within our mind.
Okay, I see. Like we're building our own world inside.
Precisely. And this inner creation, it explains, isn't necessarily aligned with objective truth. It could be a clear reflection of the truth, or it could be completely distorted.
And that has huge consequences.
Huge. The profound impact. This internal world, this mental landscape we construct, can become our personal heaven, or it could be our personal hell.
Wow. So we're the architects of our own inner state.
It's a striking metaphor, suggesting that much of what we take to be ourselves or reality is, in fact, an intricate, sometimes deeply flawed internal construction.
Makes you think, how often do we, without realizing it, paint ourselves into a corner with our own mental brushes? And this is where it gets really interesting because it points directly to the very fabric of our subjective experience and the source of so much suffering.
Right.
Waking Up directly addresses this habitual self-construction or often unconscious participation in it.
How does it frame it?
It states that our habitual identification with thought, that is, our failure to recognize thoughts, as appearances in consciousness, is a primary source of human suffering.
Okay, so it's not the thinking itself.
Yes, that's the crucial distinction. The text doesn't say thinking is the problem. It's our identification with these thoughts.
Believing we are the thought.
Exactly. We become so entangled with our inner monologue, our judgments, our narratives, that we mistake them for our essential self. This identification, it argues, gives rise to the illusion that a separate self is living inside one's head.
That little voice in the head.
Yeah. It's not that thoughts are bad, they're essential tools, but mistaking them for who you are creates this false sense of a persistent, isolated, separate entity within, constantly judging, craving, resisting.
So if our internal reality can be this profound distortion, and identifying with thoughts causes suffering, then what is this self anyway? What's truly authentic within us?
That's a big question.
The Seed of the Soul introduces a crucial concept here, offering a different lens.
Okay.
It explains that the personality emerges as a natural force from the soul and serves as an energy tool for navigating the physical world.
An energy tool.
Interesting. So the personality isn't random.
Apparently not. This view suggests our personality isn't just a random collection of traits, but a unique persona of the soul, designed specifically to interact with physical matter.
Okay.
However, the text adds a critical caveat. If parts of the soul are incomplete.
Incomplete, what does that mean? Like unresolved issues?
Yeah, maybe lessons not integrated, unresolved stuff from past experiences, things like that. If parts are incomplete, then the personality that forms will inevitably be out of harmony.
So our daily experience of self might be fragmented.
That's what it suggests. Not just a construct, but a fragmented one, expressing deeper, often unhealed spiritual aspects.
So it's not merely an illusion, but an expression of a deeper truth waiting to be integrated, brought into wholeness.
Exactly. It's quite a profound idea. Okay, so once we recognize this urgent call to inner discovery and we start to question the nature of our constructed, maybe fragmented self, the natural next step is, how do we actually begin this journey?
Right, the practical steps. These traditions aren't just identifying the problem. They're offering incredibly practical approaches. The Untethered Soul provides a very direct, accessible method for dealing with that incessant internal chatter. The voice that never shuts up.
The constant companion.
It advises us, quite simply, to Step back and view it objectively.
Just observe it.
Yes. And the key insight it emphasizes, a profound shift in perspective, is this. You are the one who hears the voice. You are the one who notices that it's talking.
Creating that separation. You're not the voice, you're the listener.
Exactly. That's the fundamental separation. The ultimate goal here is to stop differentiating what the voice says, positive, negative, planning, worrying, whatever, and instead to realize a profound truth. If you're hearing it talk, it's obviously not you.
Obvious, but so hard to remember sometimes.
Totally. It's about creating that crucial distance, that spaciousness between your true consciousness and the mental activity. Recognizing thoughts as objects of perception, not the perceiver itself.
Like watching clouds pass in the sky. You're the sky, not the clouds.
Great analogy. Imagine trying to argue with a recording of your own voice. You are the one listening to the recording, not the recording itself.
And this idea of stepping back, becoming the watcher or the witness, it's a profoundly recurring theme across multiple spiritual paths, which really indicates its universal efficacy.
You see it everywhere.
You do. It's powerfully echoed in the Power of Now, which introduces the concept of the pain body.
Ah, yes, the pain body. Explain that a bit.
It's vividly described as trapped life energy that has split off from your total energy field.
Trapped energy, like from old hurts.
Exactly. It's like a dense emotional residue from past hurts, traumas, unresolved negative experiences that has sort of taken on a life of its own. It becomes temporarily autonomous through our unconscious identification with it.
So it feeds on our attention.
Precisely. To overcome its disruptive influence, we are urged to disidentify and become the watcher.
There it is again.
The text clarifies that by staying present and consciously observing these emotional patterns without judgment, we prevent the pain body from controlling our thinking.
How does that work?
It says, the moment your thinking is aligned with the energy field of the pain body, you are identified with it and again feeding it with your thoughts. So awareness cuts off its food supply.
Okay, so proactive awareness is critical to stop re-energizing these old patterns.
Yeah.
Liberating ourselves from their grip.
Absolutely. Think of it like a dark cloud that only grows bigger and more menacing when you give it your full, fearful attention. If you just watch it neutrally, it eventually dissipates.
And it's not just about managing ongoing thoughts or emotional patterns. This practice extends to confronting the most deep-seated foundational ones.
The really sticky stuff.
Yeah. Radical acceptance beautifully connects this very practice, mindfulness and disidentification, to the pivotal moment of Buddha's awakening.
Under the Bodhi tree.
Exactly. Under the Bodhi tree, he didn't just find peace. He faced the enormous force of doubt, personified as Mara.
Mara, the tempter. Greed, hatred, delusion.
Right. Mara represents all those internal and external forces trying to pull us away from liberation. And the Buddha's response, and the practice it inspired, involves paying close attention to negative feelings themselves without judgment or resistance.
Not fighting them, not pushing them away.
No, it's radical acceptance, fully allowing their presence. And the incredible discovery, the sort of aha moment, is finding that these powerful, seemingly overwhelming negative feelings can, when truly observed, without clinging, without feeding them,
They just vanish.
they can vanish all by themselves. It implies that much of their power comes from our internal struggle against them, or our mistaken belief that they are us rather than their intrinsic nature.
So acceptance dissolves them. Powerful.
Now, beyond simply observing and disidentifying, many traditions emphasize a more active, sometimes rigorous process of purification, or shedding layers of the false self.
Right, this isn't just passive observation, it's active refinement.
Exactly. The Dhammapada, a central text in Buddhist wisdom, provides a very concise and profound instruction from the awakened ones. It states its core teaching as refraining from all that is deprezzal, the attainment of what is wholesome, the purification of one's mind.
Simple but profound.
Very. And this isn't just about external actions, though those are part of it. It's fundamentally about internal transformation, cleansing the very core of one's consciousness.
So what does purification mean in this context?
It entails systematically removing mental defilements, things like greed, anger, delusion, what the Buddha called the three poisons. It's an active process, cultivating wholesome states, developing precise mindfulness, discerning truth from illusion, much like, refining gold to remove the impurities.
And this purification takes on a particularly rigorous, even daunting form in some mystical traditions. None more so, perhaps, than that described in Dark Night of the Soul.
St. John of the Cross. That sounds intense.
It is. It describes what it calls a purgative contemplation. This is not a comfortable, gentle experience. The text states, "The soul goes forth without being observed, my house being now at rest."
What does that mean, my house being now at rest?
It suggests a profound internal journey undertaken in solitude, beyond the clamor of the external world and even one's own conscious mind. The house is the self, the senses, the lower faculties now quieted.
Okay.
This process involves true mortification, which means a dying to oneself, a profound detachment from the ego, from personal desires, from all things, in order to live the sweet and delectable life of love with God.
Dying to oneself. That sounds painful.
It often is. This period is characterized by intense aridities and temptations. Spiritual comforts are withdrawn, the intellect feels lost, the soul faces profound inner challenges, often feeling abandoned or unloved.
Why go through that?
These experiences, however painful, are seen as absolutely necessary. They chasten and prepare the soul for higher wisdom, for a deeper union with the divine. They purge the soul of its attachment to even spiritual pleasures and subtle forms of self-seeking.
So it burns away the dross.
Exactly. It's a profound, often misunderstood journey into the depths of self-renunciation.
And this shedding of the self, it isn't just about internal states sometimes. It can extend to our physical actions, our sensory experience.
Yeah.
It shows a truly holistic approach to purification.
Right, mind and body.
Siddhartha, Hermann Hesse's spiritual novel, gives a vivid illustration of these kinds of extreme practices.
When he joins the ascetics, the samanas.
That's right. It describes Siddhartha's engagement in intense self-denial and rigorous meditation. He learned, for example, to breathe sparingly, to calm the beat of his heart,
Incredible control.
and even to kill his senses and memory.
Whoa, kill his senses, literally.
Well, likely meaning to temporarily override his ordinary sensory input and personal history, detach from them completely.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Through these practices, he would intentionally slip out of his self into thousands of other forms, was an animal, was carrion, was stone, was wood, was water,
Wow, like shape-shifting in consciousness.
and awoke every time to find his old self again. This intense process of dissolving the individual self, even temporarily, was a way to experientially understand the interconnectedness of all existence.
To move beyond the boundaries of his ego.
Exactly. Preparing him to ultimately escape from the cycle of suffering and rebirth by understanding its true nature. It's an almost unimaginable level of self-mastery. So we've explored these paths of disidentification, rigorous purification, often involving an inward, self-focused discipline. But there's another powerful approach to self-work in our sources,
What's that?
the path of devotion and service, which shifts the focus outward toward a higher power.
Ah, bhakti yoga.
Exactly. The Bhagavad Gita, as it is, a revered Hindu scripture, places a strong emphasis on consciousness as the most effective way for saintly persons who are constantly engaged in striving toward salvation.
Focusing on the divine.
Yes. It describes devotional service bhakti yoga as very simple and pure and easy to perform, often beginning with the accessible and profound practice of chanting the Maha Mantra.
Chanting Hare Krishna.
Right. This offers a different entry point into inner work, focusing one's entire being, one's energy, onto a divine object of veneration, an embodiment of the absolute truth.
So it's a path emphasizing love, surrender, connection to the divine as the primary means of transformation.
That seems to be the essence of it.
And this path offers a fundamentally different kind of inner work. It shifts the focus from the individual self and its purification, like we saw in Dark Night or the Dhammapada, to an unwavering concentration on and loving service to the divine.
A different emphasis entirely.
The Bhagavad Gita text clearly states that one cannot remain in the quality of Brahman, the Absolute, until one's mind is fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord.
Brahman being the impersonal ultimate reality.
Correct. The text implies that true spiritual stability and realization come through personal devotion. And what's truly fascinating here, often misunderstood, is the radical implication of this devotion.
Go on.
It even notes that even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination.
Whoa, wait. Even the most abominable action, how can that be?
Now, this doesn't excuse the act itself. It doesn't condone wrongdoing.
Okay.
Instead, it highlights the profound transformative power of sincere devotion. It suggests that a heart truly fixed on the divine, despite past mistakes, has tapped into a redemptive power.
So the intent and focus are key.
Yes. The Lord, being situated within his heart, purifies him and excuses him from that abomination. It indicates that the inner intent and devotion can cleanse the soul, rectify one's path, It emphasizes profound mercy and the ultimate power of spiritual intent.
That's a very different perspective on purification. And this unwavering commitment to a higher power and the expansive love that flows from it seems absolutely key to this devotional path.
It is.
Theologia Germanica, a profound text of Christian mysticism, further illuminates this. It discusses how a truly godlike man cannot but love in sincerity all men and things.
Universal love.
Exactly. Such a person, the text explains, transcends personal injury, the ego's demand for retribution. They desireth and taketh no revenge for all the wrong that is or can be done unto him.
Letting go of grievances.
Explicitly citing Christ's supreme example, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Wow, that's the pinnacle of non-retaliation.
It's not passive acceptance of injustice, but an active, expansive love that transcends personal offense, self-will, seeing all actions through the lens of a higher unified will.
A profound call to compassion and forgiveness, rooted in deep alignment with the divine.
It really demonstrates that the ultimate expression of inner truth is often found in selfless love and service. Okay, so as one journeys inward, maybe beyond these initial stages of self-work, disidentification, purification, devotion, the very nature of understanding itself can shift dramatically.
How so?
It moves from intellectual knowing,
Yeah.
from concepts and rational comprehension, to a different, more profound kind of perception, one that often feels paradoxical to the rational mind.
Beyond logic.
Exactly. The Cloud of Unknowing, a seminal work of Christian mysticism, speaks of this transition in terms of meek darkness as a mirror.
Darkness is a mirror.
Yeah, which it defines as a lacking of knowing. This divine darkness or cloud of unknowing is described as a state of consciousness above thought,
Above thought.
a plane of spiritual experience with which the intellect cannot deal.
Yeah.
It's an embrace of unknowing, deliberately stepping beyond the familiar grasp of the rational mind.
Not into confusion, though.
No, not into confusion, but into a different kind of awareness.
And this conceptual darkness, as you say, it's profoundly paradoxical because it's described as dark with excess of light.
Dark with excess light. How does that work?
It's not an absence of illumination, but rather an overwhelming, ineffable light, so vast and intense that our ordinary human reason it can't comprehend it. It can't contain it.
Too bright to see clearly?
Kind of. Reason is said to be in the dark, precisely because love has entered the mysterious radiance of the divine dark, the inaccessible light wherein the Lord is said to dwell, and to which thought, with all its struggles, cannot attain.
So love enters where reason fails.
Exactly. Imagine standing so close to a blazing sun that all individual features vanish. You're left with an overwhelming, undifferentiated brilliance that temporarily blinds your ordinary sight.
Okay, I can picture that.
The text even describes this dimness and lostness of mind as a paradoxical proof of attainment.
Lostness is proof.
It indicates a state where familiar mental faculties are superseded by a deeper, more direct encounter with the divine, which transcends logical frameworks. It leads to a profound, non-conceptual knowing, often called infused contemplation.
So to engage in this profound kind of mysterious work, we're given very specific, albeit mystical, instructions.
Like what?
We are told to lift up thine heart unto God with a meek stirring of love, and mean himself, and none of his goods.
Focus purely on God, not on spiritual gifts or consolations.
Right. The directive is clear. And thereto look the loath to think on aught but himself. The radical goal is to deliberately forget all the creatures that ever God made and the works of them,
Forget everything created.
ensuring that not work in thy wit nor in thy will, but only himself. It signifies a total immersion, a single-pointed focus that deliberately bypasses all other created reality, all sensory input, all personal desires, to access the pure divine directly.
Wow. That's intense focus.
It's an act of profound surrender to the ultimate unknown, where knowing ceases to be an intellectual exercise and becomes an act of pure, selfless love, letting go of everything to grasp the one. Now, shifting gears slightly, while our sources don't explicitly use terms like Jungian archetypes, they certainly describe encounters with powerful figures, symbolic visions that really resonate strongly with the kind of inner experiences Carl Jung had explored.
Right, those deep symbolic encounters.
These aren't just abstract ideas or fleeting thoughts. They're vivid, often interactive manifestations of a deeper reality, appearing to guide, challenge, or initiate the seeker.
Can you give an example?
Well, in Autobiography of a Yogi, for instance, we read of Lahiri Mahasaya, a revered guru, mysteriously materializing and vanishing.
Appearing out of thin air.
Yes, speaking in a resonant voice to intervene in a challenging situation for the author's family. This is a direct, undeniable encounter with a powerful spiritual figure who defies ordinary physical limits.
Embodying wisdom and authority from beyond the material plane.
Exactly. Such experiences underscore that the inner journey isn't merely introspective. It can involve tangible, albeit non-physical, interactions with forces beyond our conscious understanding.
And what's profoundly fascinating here is how often these powerful manifestations seem to appear when an individual is in a heightened state, seeking transformation, even distress.
Right, at critical moments.
The Tibetan Book of the Dead details truly terrifying encounters in the Bardo state after death.
Oh yes, the wrathful deities.
Exactly. Wrathful, blood-drinking deities, and 6 Yogino of the North emerging from within the brain.
Terrifying imagery.
For the deceased, these aren't external demons. They're presented as incredibly intense, disorienting projections of their own mind.
Projections of the mind.
Yes. And the crucial instruction given to the deceased, often read aloud by a lama, is do not be afraid, and to recognize them as pure, pristine cognition.
Recognize them as wisdom, even the scary ones.
Precisely. It implies that these frightening figures, despite their appearance, are not external threats, but powerful, unintegrated facets of the inner world. They require recognition, acceptance, integration, not fear or rejection.
So they're the mind's own energy, needing to be seen clearly.
Exactly. Albeit in a disorienting, intense, often terrifying form, they need to be seen as wisdom, not illusion.
But these encounters aren't always frightening or challenging, right? They can also be profoundly beautiful and unifying.
Absolutely. Representing a direct, intimate connection with the divine.
The Interior Castle by St. Teresa of Avila speaks of intellectual visions.
Intellectual visions, not sensory ones.
Correct, where the Lord appears in the center of the soul, bringing a direct, unmistakable experience of glory that is in heaven.
Wow. In the center of the soul.
It's described as a secret union occurring in the deepest center of the soul, a place of profound interiority where there's no need for external doors, senses, or even imaginative faculties.
Direct communication.
Yeah. Yes, an intimate, immediate communication of God to the soul, manifesting in a manner sublimer than is possible through any vision of spiritual consolation or mere imaginative apprehension.
So intensely real, even without senses involved.
Exactly. Transformative, bypassing the external world entirely to reveal the divine presence within. A profound merging of the inner self with the ultimate reality. Our source material also strongly indicates that our inner landscape is far more active, dynamic, and influential than we consciously perceive.
It's not just a passive space?
Not at all. It's a vibrant arena of energies that shape our reality.
Hmm.
The seat of the soul actually mentions the collective unconscious in its index.
Acknowledging Jung's idea, even if not delving deep.
Right. Acknowledging a shared, deeper mental reservoir. But the text goes on to explain that emotions are currents of energy with different frequencies.
Emotions as energy frequencies.
Yes. Negative emotions like hatred, fear, resentment have lower frequency, while positive ones like affection, gratitude, compassion have higher frequency. It suggests that when we choose, say, forgiveness over anger, we're not just changing a thought, we are actively choosing to raise the frequency of your light.
So our emotional choices directly impact our spiritual energy state.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
It presents our emotional life as a tangible, energetic force.
That truly raises an important question then. If our emotions are energetic currents, how much of our reality, both internal and external, is shaped by these inner energies and the choices we make about them?
Yeah, how far does that influence reach?
The text from the Seat of the Soul makes a very direct and impactful link. It states, within your personal reality, you can choose to be selfish or to be giving. Each of these decisions shapes the light that flows through you and creates the reality within you.
Okay, so choices shape our inner reality.
But it doesn't stop there. It explicitly adds, this reality spills over into the realities of those around you.
Whoa, so our inner state affects others.
That's what it implies. A profound co-creative power. Our internal energetic state, influenced by our choices and intentions, directly manifests not just in our own life, but also significantly affects the wider world and the experiences of others.
So every inner choice kind of reverberates outwards, shaping the collective tapestry.
That's the picture it paints. Quite a responsibility.
The Untethered Soul further clarifies how to navigate these often turbulent inner energies. It offers a pathway to freedom, rather than just being swept away by them.
Okay, how?
It explains that when these disturbed energy, currents, fear, anger, anxiety, whatever arise, they are trying to draw your attention into it.
Like they have a magnetic pull.
Exactly. The path to transcendence, then, involves consciously letting go of the pull that the energy itself has on your consciousness.
Resisting the pull.
Yes. The key is to remain seated within, as an unshakable witness, observing these energies as they come and go, recognizing their impermanent nature.
Watching them without getting hooked.
Right. The distinction between the consciousness that observes and the object of consciousness, the emotional energy, becomes like night and day. It allows you to see their transient nature and prevents them from destabilizing your inner center.
Maintaining that inner presence amidst the flux.
Exactly. Freeing yourself from being controlled by your own internal states. Okay, even with this really profound internal focus on self-observation, inner work, the journey to inner truth isn't always solitary, is it?
No, definitely not.
The role of external guidance and community is frequently highlighted in our sources as being absolutely vital.
You need support on the path.
Yeah. The Philokalia, a foundational collection for Eastern Christian spirituality, highlights the immense importance of holy fathers.
Wise, experienced spiritual elders.
Right, and learning the art of the true and essential prayer of the heart from them. It speaks of a seeker who finds a book called the Philokalia, in which 25 holy fathers clearly present their teaching.
So the wisdom is passed down.
It suggests that even profound personal spiritual practices are often rooted in a living lineage of wisdom, and they require experienced teachers to impart their art, guiding the seeker through the subtle nuances of inner spiritual combat, cultivating inner stillness.
So it implies certain truths aren't just intellectual. They have to be transmitted through relationship, lived example.
That seems to be the idea.
An autobiography of a yogi dramatically illustrates this profound power, the indispensable role of a guru, a spiritual teacher.
Yogananda's experiences.
Right. It recounts instances like Lahiri Mahasaya, a living master, mysteriously appearing to rectify a challenging family situation.
Manifesting when needed.
Or Sri Yukteswar, another revered guru, calmly assuring recovery despite dire circumstances, where a friend was reduced almost to a skeleton and seemed beyond help.
Incredible stories.
These accounts reflect a deep-seated belief in profound spiritual power residing in advanced teachers. They can intercede, guide, even manifest in extraordinary ways to aid their disciples, not just intellectually but spiritually, even physically.
So the relationship with a guru is seen as a sacred bond.
A conduit for divine grace, profound personal transformation, accelerating spiritual progress in ways that solitary effort often cannot, according to that tradition.
However, not all paths emphasize external guidance in quite the same way. There's a fascinating tension here.
Oh.
Siddhartha presents a contrasting, really thought-provoking view on transmitting wisdom.
What does Siddhartha say?
When he speaks to his lifelong friend Govinda, he declares that wisdom cannot be passed on. Wisdom, which a wise man tries to pass on to someone, always sounds like foolishness.
Wow. That's a radical statement. You can't just give someone wisdom.
That's what he suggests. The deepest truths can't be packaged and transferred like knowledge. Yet he admits to having found thoughts, yes, and insight again and again.
Okay, so there's a nuance there. You can gain insights, but not inherent wisdom from another.
Exactly. It creates this fascinating tension. While formal teaching might fall short in conveying wisdom, personal insights, often gleaned through individual experience, direct perception, are still crucial.
So a teacher can point the way, but you have to walk it yourself.
It suggests that true wisdom must ultimately be self-realized, an inner unfolding, rather than an external impartation, making each individual's journey uniquely their own. And the journey isn't always solitary in another sense, too. Many traditions deeply emphasize the importance of community, fellowship, as an essential support structure.
Sangha Umma Church.
Exactly. The Cost of Discipleship, Dietrich Bonhoeffer's powerful theological work, describes the church not just as one man, it is the body of Christ, implying this unified spiritual organism, but also as a fellowship of members. It emphasizes that the Holy Spirit builds this up by actively gathering the individual members together, fostering shared purpose, mutual support.
So spiritual growth is intertwined with collective experience, mutual accountability.
In this view, the fellowship isn't just a social gathering. It's a visible, tangible reality, founded and sustained by divine grace. It provides a vital environment for nurturing spiritual lives, challenging and supporting each other, living out faith communally.
And this perspective really emphasizes that spiritual growth can be a deeply collective, interconnected experience, where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Right.
What's even more intriguing, maybe surprisingly, is a sort of devilish observation from the Screwtape Letters, C.S. Lewis's satire.
Ah, Screwtape. What does he say?
The senior demon Screwtape notes to his junior Wormwood that the enemy, meaning God, pours out self-knowledge in a quite shameless fashion to human animals on their knees.
Huh. Even the demons notice it.
It's a cynical yet profound observation. It implies that communal prayer, shared worship, the very act of kneeling in collective humility can facilitate profound individual insight and self-knowledge, even from a demonic viewpoint.
That's fascinating.
It suggests there's a powerful synergistic effect, a unique spiritual resonance, when individuals come together in spiritual practice. It fosters an environment where inner revelation is more readily accessible than in isolated striving.
There's power in shared vulnerability, unified intention. A Course in Miracles takes this idea of interconnectedness, unified purpose, even further. It presents a really radical vision of spiritual unity.
How so?
It states, the Holy Spirit has one direction for all minds, and the one he taught me is yours.
One direction for all minds, like a universal inner guide.
That's the implication. A shared spiritual blueprint for all humanity, suggesting that ultimately all minds are moving towards the same truth.
Okay.
And then it stresses a profound, transformative truth about our relationships. Your brother's holiness shows you that God is one with him and you.
Seeing the divine in others reveals it in yourself.
That what he has is yours, because you are not separate from him nor from his Father. This radically redefines connection, beyond just empathy or camaraderie.
So recognizing the wholeness in another is a path to experiencing your own wholeness.
Exactly, because you're not separate. It suggests that seeing the divine, the inherent perfection, in another is a direct path to realizing your own unity with all of life.
A powerful call to see beyond perceived separation. Harming another is harming oneself. Loving another is self-love.
And universal communion.
Yeah.
It's a very high bar. So as we approach what might be seen as the culmination of this inner journey, many texts begin to hint at, or directly assert, a profound underlying unity, something that pervades all of existence.
Beyond individual separation.
Right. A vision that suggests our ordinary perception of a fragmented world is just that. A perception, not the ultimate reality. The 7 spiritual laws of success introduces the law of pure potentiality,
Okay.
which it states could also be called the law of unity, because underlying the infinite diversity of life is the unity of one all-pervasive spirit.
Unity underlying diversity.
And it explicitly states there is no separation between you and this field of energy. It positions our individual self, our consciousness, not as an isolated island, but as an inextricably linked wave in a boundless, unified field of all possibilities.
Constantly in communion with the source of all creation.
That's the idea.
And broadening our perspective, Conversations with God offers a profound explanation for this apparent diversity within unity. It tries to bridge spiritual insight with more sort of scientific-sounding language.
How does it explain it?
It elucidates that all of life is a vibration and pure energy.
Everything is energy vibrating.
Yes. This energy, it continues, vibrates at different speeds, producing differing degrees of density or light, which in turn creates different physical objects.
So different vibrations create different things.
Right. But despite the apparent distinction of these objects, a tree, a rock, a human, the text stresses that the energy which produces them is exactly the same.
The underlying energy is identical.
Exactly. It uses the vivid analogy of air in a house. There is only one air moving in, around, and through everything, even if it smells different in various rooms or feels like a distinct breeze in one corner.
Okay. So the many arise from the one without true separation.
Precisely. It reinforces that despite appearances, a fundamental energetic oneness underlies all existence. Our perception of distinct objects is simply our interpretation of different vibratory frequencies of the same underlying energy.
The Upanishads, those ancient Indian philosophical texts, present a similar idea through a beautiful, really memorable dialogue between a father and his son, Shvetaketu.
Ah, the salt and water story.
Exactly. It distills this complex truth into an accessible experience. The father asks his son to taste salt dissolved in water, sip from the middle, the side, anywhere.
And it tastes like salt everywhere.
Right. Each time the son confirms it tastes like salt. Then, when told to throw the water away in return, the son confirms the salt is there all the time, even if he cannot physically see it anymore.
It's invisibly present throughout.
Yes. And the Father then concludes, "You do not see being here, but it is here." This subtle part is what all this has as self. It is truth. It is the self. You are that, Shvatakatu.
Tatvamasi, thou art that, one of the great sayings.
Exactly. It points directly, unequivocally,
Right.
to the inherent oneness of the individual self, Atman, with the universal unseen reality, Brahman.
A call to recognize that the deepest essence of your being is identical with the deepest essence of the cosmos.
Dissolving the illusion of separation, not just intellectually, but experientially. And the ultimate goal of this inner journey, across many traditions, often involves moving beyond that limited, often fragmented self we initially perceive, transcending the ego.
Getting beyond the small self.
A Course in Miracles makes this explicit with a profound statement. It frames the journey almost as a partnership.
How?
It says, "I go before you because I am beyond the ego. Reach, therefore, for my hand because you want to transcend the ego."
Like a higher self guiding the way.
That's the implication. There's a higher aspect of consciousness, a true self, that has already achieved this transcendence and is waiting to guide us. And the path to this liberation, it suggests, involves leaving all illusions behind.
Shedding false beliefs, fears, perceived separations, all the ego's constructs.
Exactly. It's an invitation to step into a wider, more authentic reality, beyond the self-constructed limitations of our small self, into the boundless freedom of the true self.
Which brings up a crucial point. What is the true cost? What's the ultimate price of holding on to this ego, this self-will that these texts describe as so limiting?
Right. What's the downside?
Theologia Germanica answers this with striking clarity and gravity. It states that there is of nothing so much in hell as of self-will.
Wow. Hell is self-will.
It's not just a theological condemnation, it's a deep psychological and spiritual insight. It explains that to will otherwise than as the one and eternal will.
Meaning insisting on your own desires, your own agenda against the divine flow.
Precisely. That is the very essence of self-will, which leads directly to sin and wretchedness. It implies that true freedom isn't about doing whatever we want. It's about aligning our personal will with a universal divine will.
Understanding our highest good is found in that surrender.
Exactly. True freedom, the text argues, comes when the will remains noble and free, not enslaved by a separate personal self-will that invariably leads to suffering and spiritual contraction.
It's a profound reorientation from my will to thy will.
Absolutely.
The fifth agreement offers a powerful, sort of comprehensive summation of this transformative process. It speaks directly to the profound freedom, the self-acceptance that comes from this journey of transcending the ego.
How does it put it?
It states that the highest point of your journey back to you is the moment when you finally see yourself through the eyes of truth.
Stripping away all the illusions, judgments, conditioning.
Yes, seeing the pure, unblemished essence of who you truly are. In this moment of authentic recognition, you accept your own divinity. You acknowledge you're a perfect, essential part of the larger cosmic whole.
Accepting your own divinity.
Powerful.
And in doing so, the text says, you become a better reflection of life, radiating more fully the light and truth of your being.
So the personality, when guided by the soul, when it sheds its fragmentation, integrates its deepest aspects. It aims for a reality that is optimal for its growth, for the evolution of its soul.
So it's a journey not to become something entirely new,
but to uncover, remember, and fully embody the divine essence that was always there, waiting to be revealed. And this profound journey we've been discussing, from the initial call to the realization of oneness, it's consistently portrayed across these traditions not as a one-time event, not a final static destination.
Right. It's ongoing.
It's a continuous dynamic process of evolution and recreation. Conversations with God explains reincarnation in this light,
How so?
describing it as the soul's incredible ability to start over, to literally forget everything learned in past lives,
A clean slate each time.
and then to remember all over again and recreate itself anew once more. This cyclical process, the text suggests, allows the divine God itself to continually re-experience itself through the myriad forms and experiences of individual souls.
So God experiences itself through us.
That's the idea. And souls can also choose to recycle through particular life forms at a specific level, highlighting the purposeful, ongoing nature of this spiritual unfolding. Ensuring lessons can be learned, growth continues across countless lifetimes.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the seat of the soul further elaborates on this continuous process, particularly through the concept of karma.
Karma not just as punishment, but learning.
Exactly. It explains that reactions of the personality to the experiences that it has created create more karma. Our responses, our choices in the face of life's events, generate energetic patterns that influence future experiences.
What goes around comes around, energetically.
Pretty much. This cycle, it states, continues until the soul releases that personality and body, until the soul has fully integrated the lessons presented by that particular incarnation.
So each life is a learning opportunity.
Yes. And when the soul eventually returns home, there is a loving assessment with its teachers and guides, a review of the journey. At this point, new lessons that have emerged to be learned, the new karmic obligations that must be paid are seen.
Planning the next phase of learning.
Right. The ultimate purpose of this entire ongoing journey through countless cycles is the healing, integration, and wholeness of the soul. Gradually refining, expanding its consciousness through successive experiences, always moving toward greater light and understanding.
Siddhartha beautifully captures this perpetual flow, this evolutionary nature, through the metaphor of the river. The river becomes his profound teacher. He perceives the river as consisting of him and his loved ones and of all people, all hurrying, suffering towards goals. And critically, he realizes that every goal was followed by a new one.
No final arrival, only continuous movement.
Exactly. The river's voice, which Siddhartha once heard predominantly as full of suffering and yearning, now contained this vast, integrated symphony of voices of joy and of suffering, good and bad voices, laughing and sad ones, 100 voices, 1,000 voices.
Wow. Embracing all of it.
This imagery powerfully conveys that life, like a river, is in constant motion, ever-changing, dissolving, reforming. It's a continuous unfolding where all aspects, light and shadow, joy and sorrow, are integrated into the grand, unified flow.
Signifying not an end to suffering, perhaps, but an acceptance and understanding of its place within the whole.
Precisely. It's a beautiful image of that ongoing evolution. #tag outro. Wow, what an incredible, expansive journey we just taken together.
It really covered a lot of ground.
We've traversed ancient wisdom, modern insights, exploring the profound depths of inner truth. We move from, the challenging path of mortification and dark night of the soul and Siddhartha,
The intense practices?
to the expansive unity described in the Upanishads and conversations with God. We've seen the crucial role of internal vigilance, observing our thoughts.
The necessity of purification? The path of devotion?
The mysterious, often intense encounters with archetypal figures and visions from texts like Autobiography of a Yogi, the Tibetan Book of the Dead.
And the indispensable role of guidance and community, too.
Right. And ultimately, that profound interconnectedness of all things and the continuous evolving process of the soul's journey.
What's truly remarkable here, and what really stands out across all these incredibly diverse traditions, is that while their language, their specific practices, their cultural expressions might differ wildly, the core message consistently points us inward.
Back to ourselves.
Yes. It encourages us to look past superficial identities, to engage courageously with our often complex inner landscape, and to embrace a journey that, while frequently challenging, promises profound self-realization.
And a Dilber connection.
A deeper, more authentic connection to the universal fabric of existence. It's a powerful testament to the universality of this quest for meaning and wholeness. It shows us that the truth we seek is often found by simply turning our attention inward.
So, given all this, given that these sources described everything from individual thought patterns to the very fabric of the cosmos as interconnected energy, consciousness, here's a final thought.
Cool.
What if the most radical act of transformation isn't about doing more or striving harder or acquiring specific knowledge?
What then?
What if it's about truly listening?
Listening.
Profoundly, unconditionally listening to the myriad voices, both within the whispers of doubt, the stirrings of joy, that quiet knowing, and without. In nature, in the eyes of another, in the challenges life presents.
Seeing all experiences as communication.
Maybe. What if all these experiences are constantly inviting us back to our essential unified self? What if the path to wholeness is, at its core, simply an act of profound, unwavering attention?
A spacious awareness that allows everything to be.
And in that allowing, finds everything it seeks. Something truly worth pondering as you navigate your own extraordinary journey.